The two teachers upstairs silently observed the entire process, from conflict to reconciliation between me and the brave. The gray-haired teacher was surprised by my apology and did not believe that I had already reformed myself. The white-haired teacher found my behavior very interesting. The gray-haired teacher decided to leave the office and bet the white-haired teacher that my personality couldn't have changed. After arriving at the student dormitory, my polite behavior impressed the dormitory manager. After taking a hot shower, just as I was about to rest, I suddenly noticed some differences on my body. After Moan handed over a bag of money to Eamon, Ayman followed his orders to help evacuate the students who were watching them. However, what they didn't know was that on the teaching floor, two teachers were standing by the window silently observing the scene of the conflict between Moan and Ariel. The gray-haired teacher standing on the left is wearing a dark suit with a coat draped over her shoulders. Standing on the right is an elder with white hair. He was wearing a white robe and looked like a wise teacher. He looked at Moan and Ariel not far away with a telescope and said to the teacher next to him, "The crowd has dispersed. It seems that we don't need to take action." The teacher with gray hair seems to be very unhappy about this conflict. Humph. The teacher with gray hair is the director of the Department of Magic at Santa Maria College. His name is Pran. He looked ahead with serious eyes and noticed that Moan and Ariel had not left yet. He crossed his hands in front of his chest and turned his head to look at the elderly man with white hair. He said to the elder, "Since the crowd has dispersed, why are they still together? You understand lip language. See what they're saying." The elder with white hair is the professor of potions in the Department of Magic at Santa Maria College. His name is Grant. He put down the telescope and smiled kindly. He found the scene he saw very interesting. He said to Pran, "That guy is apologizing to Ariel and offering her half of a grilled sausage to make amends." I have to say this guy is really interesting. Upon hearing what Grant said, Pran was greatly surprised. "What? Impossible. This is absolutely impossible." Pran doesn't seem to believe that Moan would apologize to anyone else. He hurriedly turned his head to look out the window and continued to observe where Moan had gone. That guy has always been arrogant and looks down on everyone. He takes advantage of his status as the son of a duke to act recklessly at the academy. When Pran was talking to Grant about Moan's bad behavior at school, Moan had already walked into the school with a suitcase. At this moment, two girls who were chatting happened to pass by him. When they turned their heads and noticed Moan, they all showed very scared expressions. You know how many absurd things he caused last year. The two girls are very aware of how terrifying what Moan did at school was. Seemingly very worried that Moan might target them, the two girls quickly fled the scene. They don't want to stay here too long. Moan also noticed the reactions of the two girls. He turned his head to look at them and raised his hand to scratch his head. Although he had no other thoughts towards them, he felt embarrassed about it. Pran raised his hand and continued to speak to Grant with excitement. Besides, he has always looked down upon Ariel, the illegitimate child. It's absolutely impossible for him to bow his head and admit his mistake. However, Based on the scene he just saw, Grant believes that what he saw about Moan is slightly different from what Prawn said. I can tell from his mouth shape that the guy said he has reformed himself. Because what Moan had done in the past left a deep impression on him. Prawn still didn't want to believe that Moan was different from before. He pointed angrily to the table next to him and said to Grant, "No way. If he's truly turned over a new leaf, I'll eat this table on the spot." Seeing Prawn's reaction, Grant gave him an awkward smile. He stroked his hair with his hand and said to Prawn, "It's obvious that you really dislike this guy." Prawn believed that Moan studying here was nothing short of disrespect to the school. It's not a matter of liking or disliking. That guy is nothing short of a disgrace to Santa Maria College. A year. He only learned the lighting spell in 365 days. In my 50-year teaching career, I have never taught such a foolish student. This is not only a shame for the college, but also a shame for me. Prawn clenched his fist tightly and felt very angry about Moan's learning progress. Angry flames were burning fiercely around him. He hadn't expected that, even under his guidance, Moan would only manage to learn one magic. He is very dissatisfied with his learning attitude. Seeing how excited Prawn was about Moan's situation, Grant said to him, Professor Prawn, please don't be angry. Let's stay calm." Grant picked up his telescope and continued to observe Moan's movements. He made some suggestions to Prawn. As the director of the magic department, since you dislike this guy so much, why don't you persuade him to leave? In my impression, Duke Ron is not the kind of unreasonable person. If he truly has no talent for magic, wouldn't it be a better choice to send him to the military and let him learn under his father's guidance? Upon hearing Grant's words, Prawn placed his hand on his forehead and let out a soft sigh. He felt a bit helpless about Moan's situation. In fact, he has no right to let Moan leave the Santa Maria College. He explained to Grant, "I can't do it. I don't doubt the character of Duke Ron, but fundamentally, this guy only had poor grades and caused some trouble. Strictly speaking, he don't violate the school rules. Don't you remember? This guy's mother, the Lady Noyce, known as the Imperial Canary. Her family is the Phillip family, one of the 5 school chairmen. Apart from Noyce's family causing him fear, he is also worried about another thing. Leaving aside the relationship between Lady Noyce and the Queen, the Phillip family spent all their assets to provide strong funds for His Majesty, helping him seize the throne and stabilize the country. From this incident, it can be seen that the ability of this family cannot be underestimated. If I persuade Moan Campbell to withdraw from school, it's hard to guarantee that it won't cause any political problems. So, before Prawn could finish speaking, Grant noticed what Moan had done after entering the school. He observed and said to Prawn at the same time. He entered the college, picked up the garbage on the ground, and threw it into the trash can. He put the bird's nest that fell to the ground back into the tree. Those birds seemed to be very close to him. Haha, this guy tried to hand a handkerchief to a heartbroken girl, but the girl was scared away by him. Oh? At this moment, Grant noticed that Moan had gone to a very familiar place. He was a little surprised by what Moan did there. This guy is actually bowing to the statue of the first principal. Through the telescope, Grant saw very clearly that Moan had walked to a sculpture at the Santa Maria College. This bronze statue is the first president of Santa Maria College. Moan placed one of his hands on his chest and bowed slightly to the statue in a polite manner. Pran was very surprised by what Grant said. "What?" Moan looked up at the statue and suddenly found relevant memories about it from his memory. He smiled awkwardly and silently said in his heart, "This is the statue of the first principal. If I remember correctly, it seems like I accidentally kicked its head off a long time ago. Has no one noticed such obvious traces of glue? There is a clear crack on the neck of the statue, and traces of glue still remain on it. If no one carefully observes this statue, it may be difficult to find any traces of damage." Moan placed the suitcase in his hand on the ground. He gently closed his eyes and clasped his hands together, saluting the statue and apologizing to it. "Anyway, the first principal, please don't blame me. I don't mean it. Please bless me with smooth sailing in the college. After I graduate, I will definitely create a new pure gold statue to honor you. Please."